Well, Malam Bolaji Abdullah.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. Yes, good morning.
Yeah. So if you could just take us through why, yesterday should be considered a very important moment in opposition politics in Nigeria, in the politics of coalition and alliances. And even if a lot of people have expressed misgivings, that yes, big show, but that this is a collection of strange bedfellows. This may not necessarily be a repeat of 2014, 2015. And you have, certain stakeholders in the ADC saying that, well, these opposition politicians, they will still go to another party. And in fact, Dumebi Kachikwu says that these are geriatric politicians who have nothing to offer and that they will soon leave. And someone was saying, oh, they have joined the fake ADC because there are issues in court and all of that. If you could just take us through the dynamics of what looks like this latest development in coalition politics and the ambition to remove both the APC and President Tinubu from power in 2027.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Abati. Let me start by saying that we need to take a more broad approach to the conversation about the coalition. Number one, it has been described as anti-Tinubu coalition. It goes much, much more beyond that. It's not just about the president. It's more about saving Nigeria's democracy. We have watched in the last couple of months about how almost all opposition parties have been decimated, whether willingly or unwillingly, whether through internal self-sabotage or machinations by external forces. Now, for some of us, the most important thing is that how do we, as Nigerians, allow a situation that was staring us in the face, where by 2027, God forbid, the only political party that will remain viable to contest election will be APC. Now, the coalition ADC is out to prevent such unfortunate situation where Nigerians will be presented with no alternative and no options and no choice. Many of us are old enough to remember a time in this country where there were 5 political parties, and all of them, except maybe one, ended up endorsing General Sani Abacha as their presidential candidate. It was a sense of deja vu that, oh, are we back in that era? Therefore, every single person that is not in APC decided to come together to say, look, we need to save the democracy for this country that many people died and fought for. Now, having said that, it is also clear that the situation we have faced in this country is a situation that so many people, for the first time, perhaps are asking themselves, is this really democracy? Is this really democracy? Look at the National Assembly. The essence of the National Assembly is to provide constitutional check against excesses of presidential authority. But look at the National Assembly. It has effectively today become the appendage of the executive power. So all these are the fundamental issues around which the coalition is being built. And of course, to provide alternative and options to Nigeria. We are convinced that the problem that Nigeria faces is political, and it can only be solved through politics. If bad politics has led us this way, it's also politics that can get us out of it. It's politicians that created the problem, it's the politicians that will solve it. Now, talking about, oh, the same old people, that's what people say. Yeah, but like I said yesterday, the same old people, yes. But what do? We manufacture new politicians overnight. We bring foreigners to contest elections. No, it's the same old people. So, but the important thing is that, can we build a political party that can create rules and systems that ensure that people behave in a particular way? right? When we had the first republic, it's not because everybody participating in that republic was a saint. When we had the second republic, it was not because everybody participating in that process, or in that era, was a saint. But the point is that, like I alluded yesterday, we had the UPN, for example, right, where even the worst governor in UPN knew that the least you could do is to ensure free education in your state. Now, where are those parties? You know, we have found ourselves in a situation today where governors and president and whoever is elected on the platform of a political party has become the lords of those parties, have become the masters of those parties. So for us, can we build a new political party out of this situation?
Okay.
Mercifully, the government has helped.
Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, we understand that Dumebi Kachikwu is here now, and it's good to have you. Now, you are saying that the opposition politicians joining the ADC, that they are joining through the back door, and they will soon exit either through the front door or through the same back door. And these are geriatrics who have nothing to offer. Well, Malam Bolaji Abdullahi has just said, we're not going to invent politicians. The issue about being old politicians does not arise, and that they have clear objectives. Now, there's also a Dr. Matara who issued a statement yesterday saying that the ADC is not a one-party state, alleging that the rank and file of the party was not consulted, that the youths in the party, that Comrade Rauf Aregbesola was talking about, that they've not been consulted, that there are cases in court and all of that. So which of the factions do you belong to? The fake one that, Dr. Matara was alleging, or the original one that he says he belongs to? Because it looks like even your party is in disarray.
Okay, Ruben, I don't know if you're still speaking, Ruben, Dr. Abati, but I believe I lost the last part of what you said.
Okay.
But responding to what my friend and brother Bolaji said earlier on, the truth is that we've heard this song before, but we're not willing to dance to this song again. When you say politicians created a problem and that politicians will solve the problem they created, all men are political beings. And we're saying now that Nigerians as a whole, that the 70% of our population who are youths, they want to go in a different direction. They want new voices, they want fresh faces, fresh ideals, fresh ideas. And they want to go in a totally different direction, that we don't want geriatrics who created this problem, who have brought our country to its knees. They don't want these people to continue leading them. That's all they're saying. Concerning my party, the facts are this. Ralph Nwosu's tenure lapsed on the 21st of August, 2022. We've had a lacuna in our party since then. We went to court. Justice Nyako ruled that we needed to conduct a special convention. They went on appeal. Our appeal court said it's internal party issues and the party should resolve the issues, which meant that INEC was then brought back into the fore to try and resolve this problem that we're having within the party. But INEC refused to play the role of umpire or regulator as a regulator of the political parties, and they dilly-dallied till the coalition started having this conversation sometime last year, late last year, sometime October or November to be precise. And then they started reaching me to say they want to work with ADC. They are thinking of working with ADC. But I said to them, if you want to work with ADC and you say you are having a conversation with Ralph Nwosu, then it's a non-starter, because Ralph Nwosu has consistently sold this party. And if you want to deal with someone like that, it means that you have nothing different to offer from his brand of politics. Number two, I wanted to know very clearly and to have them declare from the onset, if there's a coalition, and in understanding that President Buhari did 2 terms of 8 years, and President Tinubu is in his first term, do you accept and will you announce to all Nigerians that this coalition will be led that the candidate for this coalition will be someone from the South. And it was a categorical no, we won't take our power back. And as such, you have nothing more to say. If you believe that, as a Nigerian, I don't deserve, or I cannot aspire to hold political office that some people are born to rule, then that is insulting, that is demeaning, and that was the end of that conversation for me. So when I now hear them say that they've been on this for 18 months, no. The issue in my party, I believe, I'm not hearing them anymore, but the issue in my party, the ADR was resolved about 2-3 months ago when they procured the signature of some of the state party chairmen, and which they then believed that they were able to start having coalition conversations.
So much for that. Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, there's so much discontent, if I may call it that, within the ADC, lingering court cases. You've just heard the testimony from Dumebi Kachikwu. I mean, it almost seems as if you did not all do your due diligence. Did you vet this ADC at all before joining, or are you okay with all the legal encumbrances they currently have? And still speaking on legal encumbrances, what is the fate of those who have shown their allegiance to the coalition who still belong to other parties? Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar, Malam Nasir El-Rufai. Should we be expecting their resignations from their respective parties soon?
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me address the first question about confusion or crisis. There is no confusion or crisis. We are very clear about this. And I don't want to get bogged down with this contrivance. I understand what my brother Dumebi is saying. They may have had issues when he was the presidential candidate of that party. But for us, we are on solid legal footing. And like I said yesterday, I'm sorry, because he said the same thing yesterday when we appeared in a different platform, that if he has any particular grievances, and we understand that grievance, we are ready to deal with it, right? But we don't understand what his grievances are, right? So all these things that he's just coming up to say now, we've been on this ADC thing for quite a while, right? This process of coalition has started for a very, very long time. So why is he suddenly coming up the day of the unveiling to start throwing up these issues? And you keep talking about factionalization. There's no factionalization. You see, some of these narratives are also wrong. And this is what led us to this sorry pass, right? We see people debating genuinely or having expressing their grievances or saying what they don't like. Then we start talking about factionalization. Don't be what we call democracy, if not the right to disagree or the right to contest issues. But the way we frame the narrative as crisis, each time something comes up and two people disagree, also has aided the destruction of the political space. And I think we need to be careful in that respect. We have announced that we have gone into ADC. If there are any issues afterwards, we will deal with it. But we are on solid legal grounds. I'm not a lawyer, but I know that we took every single step to ensure that we are covered, right? So talking about issues on where they have whatever issues, because I'm aware that the party has suspended him even before we joined. Maybe so, but I don't want us to get bogged down with all that. These are issues that we'll deal with. But we understand where all this is coming from, right? It is consistent. It's a consistent pattern for destabilizing, for emasculating anything that appears like opposition, and this is very, very dangerous. Right? Okay. So having said that,
okay,
you want to say something?
Yeah, Malam Balaji, once you're done, I have questions for you, sir. I have questions for you once you're done.
So I'm saying that, the question about whether El-Rufai is still in SDP, Peter Obi, yes, we understand that there are elections in between, before 2027, that these parties are engaged in, that people like Malam Nasir has his group engaged in. So they have bought forms on the platform of those parties. So it is only sensible that you allow them to contest, the candidates to contest election on the grounds of those parties. And when they are done with that, everybody And like he's indicated yesterday, everybody in principle is in ADC, and we leave them to sort out all the elections they have in between, then they come in, right? So, and it is clear. What we are doing is very clear to us. Every single person that believes that Nigeria cannot be reduced to a one-party state is in this coalition.
Okay.
If anyone has problems with that we should watch and allow Nigeria to become a one-party civilian dictatorship, then you can begin to throw up all this. Whatever internal dynamic we have unveiled yesterday, we don't think it will be a smooth ride. We think it will be bumpy, but we are ready to deal with it.
Okay. Real quickly, I'll come to you, Dumebi Kachikwu here, and good to see you again. Is that Tinubu's hands in any of this? Because you said you were going to support Tinubu at some point after the election. So is this about Tinubu? That's the question I want to ask you. And I've been hearing your conversation since yesterday. What do you really want? Do you want to coalesce at some point, or you want to go to court and fight for the interest of your party? Because you actually do have a point, because I researched it. In December of 2022-2023, there's actually a court case that a judgment ruled in favor of removing the Nwosu, led leadership of the ADC. So you have a strong point there. And in fact, there was a caretaker arrangement that was put in. So are you going to go to court and say you own the party? Or if this coalition has come to you and said, Dumebi, what do you want? And you can talk to them and you can be co-opted into this. Or you want to go to court and make trouble. What do you want to do, really, as regards this? That's my question for you. After you finish, I will come back and ask Mr. Bolaji Abdullahi his own question. So answer yours first, because we're having some back and forth on the line.
Okay, Rufai, I can't remember when you and I had a conversation where I said to you that I wanted to support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The position I've always made public to everyone is that at every given point, we have one president, we have one nation, and patriotism demands that we do everything to strengthen democratic structures and support our country so our country does not fail. So that's where the issue of any issue of supporting the government of the day or supporting our country to work. But I cannot remember ever saying I was supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I am in the opposition. I believe that the job of opposition is to not only oppose, but to propose. So in ADC, our brand of opposition is entirely different. Now, as to what I want, it's very, very simple. Like you said, you acknowledge that Nwosu's tenure lapsed on the 21st of August in 2022. So on what basis are we having conversations with Nwosu? Secondly, if there is a coalition as far as I'm concerned cannot be a coalition of strange bedfellows. What's the ideology of the coalition? Hatred for Bola Ahmed Tinubu? I can't be part of a coalition that has no ideology beyond hating Bola Ahmed Tinubu or just trying to procure power. That's not my idea of politics. That's not why I'm in politics. As far as I'm concerned, the Nigerian people are my number one constituency. Is solving the problem of Nigeria and Nigerians. We have 80% of our population that are poor people, and the people yesterday who unveiled themselves are the reason why we are where we are today. And it beggars belief to hear Bolaji say here today that they created the problem, they politicians, and they should be left to solve the problem. Do you know what we have suffered as a people? Because of the problems people have created, that you just so glibly say that, oh, you will solve the problems you created. The number of people who have died because of our poor healthcare infrastructure, because of our bad roads.
Okay, Dumebi, I heard your teachers yesterday. You said the same thing. I'm asking you today, what do you want? Do you want to cause trouble? You say you can't be in coalition. What do you want?
I just answered your question. What do you want? Rufai, please. I don't understand what you mean. You heard my theatrics yesterday. That's a demeaning statement.
No, what do you mean by theatrics about the will of the people?
Do you believe that I came here this morning?
No, I heard your theatrics yesterday about the will of the people.
Can you withdraw Rufai, withdraw that language? That language is insulting.
No, I
don't tell me I'm here for theatrics. Do you know what that means?
Which is your proposition to the people and all of that.
And I'm telling you, withdraw that language, Rufai.
With due respect,
Rufai, withdraw that language. I won't accept using that language. I'm not here for theatrics, Rufai.
Okay. No, I said
I am not you. I don't come in front of TV to postulate.
Dumebi, I said theatrics, all right? Go ahead. I'm not saying theatrics. Maybe you didn't hear me properly. I said theatrics. Your proposition to the people. go ahead, state what you want now. Do you want to cause problem with the ADC, or you want to stand instead for the Nigerian people? What do you want? I've just asked you a basic question. If you can't answer it, let me come to Mr. Bolaji. If you can answer what you want.
For ADC, what we are saying is that Nigeria is on the brink of collapse, and that these politicians have brought us to this point, and that if we have to do anything about Nigeria, about a new Nigeria, we need new faces, we need fresh ideas, we need fresh ideals. The people who burnt our house cannot say they are the fire brigade who put out the fire. Absolutely not. This is the same song they sang when President Buhari came in. And what happened? Our country went to the dogs. And they are coming with the same playbook again. Before under President Jonathan, we saw sponsored terrorism, kidnappings, bombings everywhere, and the same thing is happening anymore again. So at the government of the day looks bad, and then you just alter the dynamics of the political equation.
Okay, so what you're saying is you
cannot
cannot work with these people.
And
you are against them. You are against them.
I cannot work with these people.
Very good. Okay, I've gotten the point. Thank you.
I am absolutely against them.
Okay, are you going to go to court real quickly? Are you going to go to court against them to be able to assert your authority in the ADC? Are you going to go to court against them?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, you go to court against them, so you make trouble in court with them. So, Mr. Malam Bolaji, you've heard. He's going to take you guys to court. He's going to go against you. What's going to be your response to that, number one? Number two, the argument a lot of people make about you people in the fold is that they say, oh, it's the same people again. You have served in the PDP. You have been in the APC. Now you are in the ADC. You've pretty much gone through everywhere. You served in many capacities. I want to ask you this briefly. Are you a placeholder for Mr. Saraki in all of this, in the ADC?
That question came sooner than I expected. Well, let me say, I will plead. I want you to plead. I want to plead with my brother Dumebi. I mean, when you shout like that, it affects my ears. So please, let's cool it a little bit. You know, well, I mean, he said he's gonna go to court. We expected all this. We said it's consistent. It's the same thing that happened to Labour. It's the same thing that happened to NNDP. It's the same thing that happened to PDP. It's the same thing that happened to all parties that appear like opposition. We can see the handwriting clearly. So, and that's why I want to caution my brother Dumebi. You are beginning to sound like APC spokesperson. I mean, we said we have found ourselves in a situation where opposition has been emasculated or even decimated completely. And we face a dangerous situation where there will be no opposition in this country, regardless, with due respect to all other issues you raise. So what should we do? We roll over and die? Or we arrive at 2027 and only President Bola Tinubu is fit to contest election? So that's why some of us are saying, no. Regardless of the whatever risk it entails, we have to come together and save this democracy. Because in the end, when you have one man standing there, you don't have a democracy. You know, so that's all we are saying. Be that as it may. The second question about it's the same people and all that, because you see, regardless of how many times we fail, I'm 56. I've not lost my idealism. I still believe in dreams. I don't want to stop dreaming. I still believe in the possibility of this country. And I believe that we will get to a point where we'll get this democracy right. Look at the political parties. Which one can you really call political parties in the real sense? Our political parties today are actually worse than the ones in the Second Republic or even the First Republic. You know what UPN stood for. You knew what MPN stood for. You know what MPP stood for. PRP, you know what they stood for. But look at what we have today, mere vehicles for contesting elections. And yes, we have been part of it. But should we stop trying? We can't stop trying. I mean, if you look at it, you say, okay, to build a nation, that's what our national anthem said. It's an infinitive clause. You keep trying. And 1,000 years from now, children of Nigerians will be saying to build a nation. To build a nation. It means that the job of nation building is never finished. This is another attempt. Let us keep trying. Hopefully we'll get it right. But what we are saying is that we need to build a political parties in the real sense, a political party that will be able to discipline its members, a political party that will be where members will be supreme, and those are the principles, the foundational principles for what we are doing in ADC.
Okay.
I believe it's possible. The day I find that it's a different game, yeah. So that be that at me. Then the last question you asked, no, I'm not asking. I'm not acting as a placeholder for anybody. Dr. Saraki has been my boss for a very long time. He's in PDP. I'm in ADC. So that's it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, and thank you, Dumebi Kachikwu. As I said this morning, this is still a developing story. Act 1, Scene 1 of an interesting political game in Nigeria. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.